Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. And for those of you that are returning back, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They greatly help and I value them very much so. So anybody that's interested in subscribing to the channel, if you watch regularly and you want to support the channel, you can go over to Patreon and choose a subscription level. You'll get the daily forecast over there a day early. You can also get other readings that are available only over there, depending on what level of subscription service you choose. It is at patreon.com, and you look up Engelgeist, and then the subscription level should be described there, and you can choose one. If you have any questions, you can direct questions to me at the Facebook business page. Also, any questions in regards to private readings should be directed there, and I can answer them for you. It's pretty simple. If you're interested in a private reading, those are available. Beyond that, this is a broad spectrum reading we're in December, guys. Tonight, remember, there's full moon energy going on around us, so it's a time of releasing and reflecting. We're also going to the end of the year. We're going, in our last month of the year, so that's also very much a significant time for, letting go, closing up, whatever we were dealing with this year, whatever we kind of don't want to take with us. We might want to think about that and release some of that. We're starting with a new deck today. I'm a little bit interested in seeing how December's going to roll out with this deck. It is I believe it's pronounced the LINESTRIDER, or the LINESTRIDER, but there it is spelled L-I-N-E, by SIOLO THOMPSON. The deck is absolutely beautiful. It's a bit stark, primal. I was thinking about it last night. It's got a very interesting energy to it, so we'll see. I've found an oracle deck to pair with it, so I think that the messages will be good, but I tried to find a deck that kind of would pair well with it and also would balance it a little bit. So I think I've made a good choice. We're going to see how these readings roll out as we go. So what else do I want to say? I always say this is a broad spectrum reading for many people who may watch at any given time. It is set for December 1st, Tuesday, but it's not just the original intention date, but it's also a timeless message in the sense that it is for the greater good of the highest good of the greater collective. And therefore, whenever you're seeing it is when you're intended to see it. So you have to trust that, maybe spirit, your own spirit, your guides, your God has a hand in sometimes things crossing our path. And so when we're seeing it is when we're supposed to. So don't turn it off if it's not the first. Take what you need of the reading and leave the rest is kind of the concept. Not every reading is going to fit every exact person, but if things do fit or you can place it in your life, please feel free to do so. Use it to the best of your advantage. If it doesn't fit for any reason or doesn't make sense or resonate, that's fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong or broken. You just might be working on something different at this time, and that's completely good and acceptable. If you make any personal decisions in your day-to-day life after having watched this video, due to things you've heard in this video, those decisions are your own personal responsibility. Do not take anything I say over the advice of any sort of professional in their field, i.e. a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist. Those people need to be, listened to first and foremost. So I just put that in there for the protection of those that might not understand online readings and the videos that they're watching. There are some, people out there that don't understand that. So I'll just include that now for people's security. All right, so let's get into this and see what we've got going on. New month, new energy. We've got that full moon energy. Let's see what we need to know, what this new deck wants to tell us. Here we go. Okay, Five of Cups. All right, so I'm going to go with sort of like traditional meanings as I can pull them, but some of this art really evokes weird feelings in me, guys. I don't know why. There's this sadness. I mean, there is normally a sadness to the Five of Cups, so I love how they've depicted this. It's sort of, this is like an extremely sad. This deck, I'm sorry, it is sort of, It's beautiful. I love it. And there's something about it that is sort of tragic in a way. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but there's just something very, I don't know, it's hard to pinpoint it, but all right, we're going to go with this. The Five of Cups is traditionally pictured with a man or woman by a river, usually depicting 3 cups spilled over on the ground. 2 cups are behind said person, whatever their sex may be. They're focusing on what's wrong versus what's right? Versus what they don't have versus what they do have. And what they're not seeing is what's kind of right in front of them, which is they can pick their cups right up and take them to the river and refill them if they want. They still have 2 cups right there. And the 2 of Cups represents sort of also in most decks love, right? In a way. So they have kind of everything that they need, but they're unable to see it because they're focused more on what's wrong or what hasn't worked out for them, right? So we're talking about a little bit of a misplaced energy or attention, let's say. Now with this card, what I'm seeing here is this is exceptionally sad because we're talking about 3 broken eggs here. We're talking about maybe the dreams of this owl, right? And this owl to me looks so sad. I hope I can get through this month with this deck. It's a beautiful deck. Owls always represent wisdom, and then this sort of the motherliness of this owl because she's tending to her eggs. There's an importance here. Let me refer back. What were our cards from? We had that Queen of Wands, the 5 of Wands in the midweek energy, and then we had, how did we end out? With the World. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I'm going to have to write that down so that I remember that because I've switched my calendar over for this month. When I'm looking at this, it makes me feel like this isn't not just a simple like crying over spilled milk kind of card. To me, this looks like dreams, aspirations. I almost want to say, are some of us giving up on those? Are some of us kind of letting those go or being challenged by them? The reason why I say that is the Queen of Wands is very much about, Queen energy is about sort of how I see it, about creation, fertility, intuition, all of those sort of wonderful things. Wands is about taking action and making things happen, right? And I said in the Sunday reading, it's about bending the rules. When I look at this 5 of Cups, to me it's like this mother, again, we have that sort of queen energy in this owl, which is also representational of like wisdom or knowledge. Something has gone wrong with her eggs, right? Something has gone wrong with something that's direly important to her. Like this is not just spilled cups at the river. To me, this is why this deck kind of stirs up these weird emotions for me. This feels like, maybe our dreams, our aspirations, something that we kind of really want could be either broken or we're seeing it as that, right? That's also the essence of the 5 of Cups too, is that we're seeing sort of where things aren't working versus where things are. And what's tragic about this card to me is that, we're talking about baby life forms here. These are her eggs, right? And so she's turned her back on the 2 eggs that are sort of waiting for her to nurture them while she's addressing the shock and upset of the 3 eggs that are cracked and maybe just completely gone. The thing that kind of messes with me here is there's no river to refill these eggs, or there's no, do you see what I'm saying? This is the sort of starkness of this deck. It's a little bit like bleak in a weird way, but we're gonna go with it. So I feel like the eyes are still on the future of this owl, so there is hope in that, and there is 2 eggs still in the nest, right? She still has the ability to sort of create more eggs if she wants to. It just is going to take time and a little bit of, dedication maybe on her part. What I will say about this is that we do have that 5 of Wands energy coming up in the midweek, and so it's interesting that we're seeing the 5 of Cups, which is emotionally we might be feeling off today. We might be feeling disconnected from whatever our goals are, whatever our aspirations are. We might be feeling that we can't necessarily see them or connect to them in the way that we maybe could earlier, in the month, in last month or whatever. And so as we are moving forward, we may have to sort of reestablish our connection to whatever it is that we desire that we want to bring in, that we want to bring to fertility, that we want to, birth into our lives, right? If that, whatever that may be for you. The other interesting thing I will say that just flashed in my mind is that we are going through this full moon cycle right now, right? Plus an end of the year cycle. These 3 eggs could sort of represent what we need to leave behind, the things that need to be sort of, I don't want to say cast aside, but there might be some important things, people, events, situations that need to be left where they lie, right? They might be things that are a little bit sad, or, we might be a little bit melancholy about it, but our wisdom, our knowledge, our brain is telling us we can't take these with us into the future. It's interesting too, because I believe the full moon tonight is in Gemini, and Gemini is very much an air sign in the intellect, which would be also wisdom, intelligence, and that would be this owl. So I kind of think, and owls are very much associated with night skies and moons, so that's a weird connection there too. So I kind of feel like there is a message there between the full moon. Maybe we need to be reflecting on what eggs in our nest are no longer serving us, are no longer working for us, and as sad as it may be to let them go, maybe now is the time to do so, right? These eggs could potentially cause the confusion that we see coming in the 5 of Wands that we might be sort of dealing with. Although I did very clearly see that Queen of Wands influence still in the midweek card, the fact that she's captivated by a bunch of different opinions or outside influences and all of that, and it kind of takes her off track, that could be some of this energy right now, where we're caught up emotionally in having to release the things that are no longer working for us, are no longer serving us, are no longer maybe viable or possible anymore. What I will say is that World card at the end of the week speaks to this idea that there is something probably better coming along, right? The whole thing with this deck, though, or at least certainly with this card, is that this is around sort of motherhood and her eggs, and that's a really intense vibe. But this, I feel like, the thing is that this deck is going to, I get a little bit of an impression that this deck may hit us a little bit hard this month. And it's winter, so the starkness and the reality of this deck does match up with sort of the starkness of what's going on in the season that we're looking at this. But it's, we'll see. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster is my feeling. So let's look at the Oracle deck that I chose to go with this. This is the Song of My Heart deck. This is by an artist that I found via Etsy. So all of the deck information will be included either on their unboxing videos, on my unboxing playlist, or on each video description once they're fully uploaded to YouTube. You can support this artist. Her name is Hand Me That Pencil, and this is her deck, The Song of My Heart. The reason why I chose this deck is both are made by females, right? SIOLO Thompson, I didn't know this, but she happens to be a female artist, which I love. So I wanted to have 2 female artists, and I also liked that this felt softer, where SIOLO's feels a little bit, her art feels, there's a softness to it and a grace and a beauty to it, but there's also a masculinity in that starkness, in that sort of primal nature of it. There's a little bit of a slight darkness to it, and I wanted to counterbalance it with the femininity and this sort of starkness in your face that you see in this Song of My Heart deck by Hand Me That Pencil. She's an artist from New Zealand. Please check her out on Etsy, and again, I will link everything. So this is I Radiate Acceptance, and what I love about this is, oh, you guys, here's the river that we're missing. Do you see that down in her sort of solar plexus-y area? It says, like the Kaitiki Point Lighthouse, I strive to offer others safe passage. And then we see this lighthouse up her arm, and it's creating this light around her heart chakra. I Radiate Acceptance kind of speaks to this idea of whatever this owl is fretting over, right? Whatever we might need to leave behind or let go of, we can sort of do that and be in acceptance of that, and it will move us down sort of where I see this river, right? It's funny that this river shows up when I said there's no river in the 5 of Cups in this card, because we're getting a river. This is already a good pairing, I can tell. Okay, so the river is here, but we find the river within acceptance. And remember, our grounding stone for this week, sorry if I sound all over the place, it's kind of adjusting to these new decks, and I hope I'm making sense. Please leave me a comment and let me know. But as we adjust into this, remember our grounding stone is the faith stone, right? And faith also ties very much into acceptance, right? And so when I'm looking at this light that is within her heart, within the acceptance of her, also guides her sort of down the river of her emotions. The emotions being the cups that we see in this Five of Cups. Whatever we're sort of maybe forlorn about or in the process of letting go, we need to find that acceptance, find that light within us, and continue to sort of move accordingly, be in sort of that faith that we see as the theme for this week. Also, yesterday's gratitude stone really seems appropriate for this message of acceptance and this message of sort of letting go that we see in this Five of Cups. We need to concentrate on what we have, not what we don't or what we've lost. So let's look at like what we're taking with us, right, into 2021 versus what we're, leaving behind. I think that it's okay to find acceptance around what we're leaving behind, certainly, because that is sort of a healing process that takes place. But we also need to be aware and keep focused on what we have and be grateful for that too. All right, so let's look to the grounding stone. Okay, so the grounding stone is respect. So I think that respect is a pretty powerful sort of concept or energy principle, maybe I would call it. Respecting oneself first and foremost, respecting one's, feelings, right, that we see here in this Five of Cups card. I don't want anybody to deny any sort of emotions that they're having around losses or upsets or failures or whatever it is that they might be looking at, but also respect for others comes through sort of that acceptance of allowing them to be where they are, right? And when we do that, I think that that also allows us to kind of get into sort of that space of faith, and then also that sort of idea of gratitude and this idea of acceptance, so that we can move forward this week and deal with some of, say, the challenges that we see that might be coming for some of us in that Five of Wands card. But again, week's end, we should end out on that beautiful World card where we feel like we've accomplished something, we've achieved something. Maybe that's the freedom from whatever is holding us back, upsetting us, causing us any sort of emotional distress or dismay. I don't get that this owl is completely like out of whack and really upset, but there might be something that underneath the surface is bothering us a little bit more than we've wanted to admit or acknowledge. And that's also some of this acceptance that's going on in this irradiated acceptance, is that light that we shine on the soft spots of us, right? Or the places where we've suffered maybe losses or we feel like we've been, invalidated or let down or whatever. Showing ourselves that sort of respect to kind of look at those things and honor them maybe isn't such a bad thing, right? Because it allows us to kind of depart or get into this state of acceptance, get into this state of gratitude, get into this state of faith, and move forward in hopes that something, I want to say better, but like something more in line with us is coming. And I feel that something is with that lighthouse and that river. There's options here. It's not, there's still possibility, there's still opportunity here. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, you guys. That is your forecast. Allow me a few days to adjust. I don't know if I'm going to go back to the book reading descriptions, because in SIOLO's book, they're quite long, but give me a comment and let me know if you want me to read them. I don't have a book for the Song of My Heart, so I just read what's on the cards and then determine what I feel from the art. So let me know what you guys think about whether or not you guys want me to read the book descriptions, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, and focus on what you have and get into that place of acceptance. Thank you so much. Please hit the thumbs up, like button, or subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will watch this energy build. Take care. Bye-bye.